GG once everyone has looted up. As there it is, off of the rip, GG and Wolves both trying to race towards the Fireflies. Who's gonna be able to pick them up? ZK's looking. Is he gonna be able to nab? Well, CGS has already got one. He's 60% to that first ultimate, prioritizing all of the stagger and health reset on this Yushan. As with that stab, the 1-2 hop horizontal, they're gonna be able to find all of the stagger. Free throw going incredibly low, but the Justina comes on through. ZK was able to pick up the Fireflies, and the freeze follow-up is there. Nothing you can do once that connects with a blue pulse on follow-up damage as well. Another freeze out, another pulse on hit, and another kill surely going into the way of Wolves. Gem is falling incredibly low, but does still manage to get the kill onto GG's LXM. We don't have any more Justina dashes, but we do still have the full team still standing, as opposed to GG, who was just reduced to CJS. And I mean, it was go big or go home for Wolves or GG. One of the teams was going to get the better of the Fireflies, and in that instance, Wolves get the last howl.
Now, Alliance has actually made the rotations to Fire Cave so many times I lost count, and I think that's where all the other teams expect to come out against this team. Now, BBE are in a spot right now of catching Lane here, who had the iframe F1 to come through, but has still V2, so Ben has to be careful about this. In the meantime, LUG are here for that third party. There is the F2 to throw it in there. Revenge finds an elimination off of Roishishi. SS has the F2 still to enable a double-triple hit off of that end, and SS has perfect opportunity here to ult and confirm kills against Alliance, and as the Revenge goes down, Solo pickup gets himself 30% rage as time goes by. He looking to lock into Ben, but besides finds Lane getting eliminated by the King. Shout out to the F3 coming up from that shot, and as SS finds himself against Ben, they look to return this Descender, but goes down as an immediate, and that's 4 eliminations for OUG into these sections into the Fiery Cave spot. And you know, I mean, they're going to be looking to get these Fireflies as well if they haven't been picked up already, or the fruits I should say, just to give themselves a little bit more offensive power, like with this prickly pear that was picked up by SS, and that's a DPS spike for him as well. Now over into with the to the islet crater. Is this the islet crater? No, this is super northwest into the map region where about if I'm not mistaken, Jing and Peak got eliminated, so they're looking to try to reset for economy, but Ashao looking to be nearby. There's sneaky, trying to play it out and hitting the bell, finds confirmation of the enemies in the vicinity and looking to try to find a way to lock them down. Now, Jing, Bauda, they go all the way out to the eastern beachfront, and they're looking to try to get towards the Alchemist's cottage. If they can find some sort of loot if there have been enough already. And as the rotation comes down towards Artisan's Grove, money time, moves to get rich.
It's Wolves versus GG. But remember, GG had to go solo, so Wolves have probably got the better gear, and unfortunately, it might bite GG. F2 confirmation into grapple, full lockdown onto LXM, and that is very, very quickly a dead GG player. Everyone else from GG now immediately booking it into Celestra, one of the areas where it can be incredibly easy for these players to be able to disappear, cut noise, and try and play for their lives. I would assume that they've rang Bell already as well, so that Wolves can't use it to be able to track their location through. As Gem drops the F2 into blue, gets the follow-up into the gold on that second throw out as well. And it's just confirmation of kills now as Gem is hunting to see where exactly this other player from GG has scurried off to. Commits the focus strike and actually gets parried. Now he's falling incredibly low. The Ferrier V3 and the dual halberd follow-up will be able to take Wolves down. And suddenly this is potentially winnable. Free throw hops into the Ferrier mech. But he was able to build up. Cannon shot connects onto EG. CJS gets the communication. Okay, I've got one. It's now a 2 versus 2. I've got the ultimate, and we're going to potentially be able to find an isolation. EG, however, is able to use the Yushan ultimate before he gets burned. And now it becomes the 1 versus 2. 3-3-0 and CJS were not able to work together and find a kill confirmation onto Wolves. Really good isolation avoidance coming on through from ZK as out of that Ferrier V3, 3-3-0 falls, and the absolute follow-up is there from Wolves. The Ferrier just holds her position in the F3 as long as she possibly can to be above the players' heads and live her life as long as it possibly can go, but eventually you have to commit the shot. And unfortunately, you have to bite the bullet and go down alongside the rest of your team. As WBG and KLA, when we saw WBG trying to play for the sneaky sneak, Feel like we're in the area as well. Sleepwalker will be able to potentially find a freeze. Doesn't manage to put himself into the hitbox follow-up, however. So Cuckoo is going to be able to live and get the freeze shell form. However, Sleepwalker finding the isolation onto the players of KLA. Now gets to push out the combo breaker. Justina, without that defensive, will fall to the 2 versus 1. And Sleepwalker gets to return back to the bodies and see whether or not he can pick up some better loot in terms of upgrading to make sure if the team gets third-partied, he's in position to scout it out.
You know, I got to shout out to the F3 Weishan for that comp specifically because there's a lot of peel that can come out of it. And then on top of it, the F3 from the Yodohime, because one thing that the F3 can do for Weishan is that it's a gold focus skill on 22-second cooldown. And one thing that it involves is that gold focus knockback. And if anyone's in the stone form, that's blue focus. They can mitigate anything that's blue focus to the extension, but an F3 negates that stone form and pushes them back, and that also gives Sleepwalker in instances of the Justina perfect ample opportunity of finding a freeze to confirm it. And that's that type of synergy that comes out for skills with the characters on the team, for your team in general, for that type of play. But of course, if you guys saw the broadcast for what the skills gonna be updated, we could see removal of F3 towards the F2 to be integrated with the Terror buff. If you guys don't know what the Terror buff is, 40% negative attack for 8 seconds as it implies. So if we see these players are utilizing more of the F3, things could change and F3 could stay. I'm hoping to see that. But we're looking at this chase here as JJH's Flames looks and gets a shot off of Revenge. And as they're chasing these kills down, 3 eliminations so far for JJH. Alliance only having 1 elimination. The ultimates are all ready for Alliance, but Flames finds a preemptive ult not too early, because with that chance there, this is going to give Bo full reign here. Once he got caught into the chant, it's going to be a free kill of the RMBs because no more zipping V2. It's already been popped, and Flames gets himself to the close gap towards Revenge and finds the fan RMBs back to back with a parry from Revenge, commits towards it and gets locked down here as a no parry comes out to say sayonara. And for those kills, eliminations, JJH gets himself 5. Lane is still alive onto the comp. He's just sliding, and that's going to be a reset for Bo as well, as he is in soul form, but Revenge had already burned both lives through the first set, and that's going to give Alliance more time to look for resets here for Economy. Now, Romyang spawning here in about a minute. We do see the map coming, actually less than a minute, 30 seconds. We're going to see a Vermilion Burst Smite in the very center of this map towards the Artisan's Grove. It seems that the Valiant Challenger has been preempted by Wolves, and they are going to be looking to try in earning that gold back after their Romyang battle if they win. Now, we do see a Moonbane dropped onto the Romyang into Ventai Temple, whether that's from XCG or for J-Team. A lot of players here have been already made themselves known in terms of their gear to be worthwhile of reaching to Romyang. As you can see, WBG, Bauda, their earnings, they're just waiting this one out. We've seen teams wait out for a free realm, or rather they wait until
Wolves are stacked.
Yeah,
they've got Cavalry Bloom, they've got Phoenix, like off of the kills that they were able to pick up onto GG back to back, and the fact that they were able to, with that pressure, they iced off GG, secure a money spot. Like, this is a team that has gone rolling. They're not rolling in money at the moment, but they are 100% rolling in soul jades, and as a result, when those portals spawn up immediately, they are right in there. They are the first team through, and as a result, everyone is like, okay, a team just went immediately in. I don't want to be the team that has to go up against them. So now it becomes a game of chicken. Who goes into Yang second? Who has to face up against the Scaled Wolves? Is it going to be anyone? It is indeed going to be XCG. Wolves and XCG. We'll go head to head, and now everyone's seen another team's already taken that first portal. Instantly, everyone all-ins on the second and third. So Wolves now keep an eye on those soldiers. We know that they've got Phoenix. We know that they've got Cavalry Bloom. XCG does not. NiHQ goes aerial, trying to find a couple of hits off of the musket into the fan. Justina ultimate immediately going to be popped by ZK. Is he going to be able to find a freeze? He's grappled into position. He finds one freeze. He's looking to try and follow up with the Cavalry Bloom. There it is. Gem paving the way. Yoto V3 to stagger absolutely everyone so we can get the freeze connected into the follow-up of the Cavalry Bloom. We get the freeze into the Takeda. The Fury Shove still able to come on out, so we don't get the full follow-up confirmation afterwards. But now it's just going to be Wolves dealing with cleanup because the Takeda could only peel for himself. and unfortunately not the rest of his team. Wolves with an absolute gorgeous macro play. Heading over now to the second realm of Yang, it's going to be Bowder, also having to go up against Justina. Yiran getting frozen in position, gets the F activated with the follow-up Blistering Edge, connecting onto Sleepwalker, so he's not able to sit in the free shell from RMB on the dual halberds. Charges enough from Bowder as well, connecting onto Baige at the same time as Yiran fries Sleepwalker with the fan, and Bowder with an absolute beautiful Soul Jade. Blistering Edge on that pulsar, just doing so much work into the Justina.
It was crazy how Sleepwalker was attempting to go for a Pride's Fall, fully noting that this team, the enemy he's going up against is Takeda, and that's the cooldown timer for the Fear and Blast, and it comes out to the advantage of Bowder and winning up the Romy Yang. Now over to Artisan's Grove, like I mentioned, there is a Morris Blessing here that had a Vermilion Burst. I'm not 100% sure who was able to pick that one up. I could assume that was BBE, considering they are in the vicinity, and they usually are running outside of Romy Yang's, you know, because this comp doesn't really succeed well against other team comps.
Yeah, 0 kills.
But we do see Ben having himself caught into between a rock and a hard place. ZK is an active Justina ultimate. Also, ZK also has now Cabloom, has martial artist Octa/Blade on standby. So we're gonna have to see whether or not that ever is gonna come out here, because Ben finds Zem in a great spot, eliminates Zem, finds a Soul Bloom here for an ultimate recast, and there's gonna be a chance here for a double down. ZK already had been enchanted, is gonna go ahead and try to look for dashes for the resets for the team, but for the Weishan to really prioritize on neutral shots. And EG, perfect time for the V3, a huge knockback against opponents, and Yaron from Bowder finds the opportunity for kill steals here against EG, as it looks like there's a Dragon Slayer. Yaron gonna be backing this point. Another chance for Destroy Shishi, and catches that one. And Yaron is cooking this one up for 7 eliminations for the team. Yo, OG is gonna be looking for this chance here, but obviously right then and there, there's the ultimate cast to try to find some wild haymaker slashes. Well, Jinyu has no armor here, looks to regroup with his teammate and finds his lineup here for Jing, but the V3 or V2 from the Kurumi isn't going to give enough sustain for Team Bowder, as they try and locking down this Yodohime now that she has no ultimate. She's got only a recast to her name. Peak is getting focused down to Heldem, but we do see this chance for Jinyu to make things work here. If he can, this is a perfect opportunity for another third party to come into place, and then another time, 521 makes their marks, as they still have a C Unique here. He has ultimate to come out here, and for another chance for every single one of these teams to find those last second eliminations here. 521 does have Romy Yang depletions before. It's their job to find those Soul Bloom pickups for the teams, in even succession, and there's going to be a chance for them right there. But Pampy finds himself locked down against the King, and it finds a double Fear and Blast hit, gets a little bit of sustain to stay alive here as the King gets eliminated here. Pampy looks for the Soul Bloom, finds it, picks it up. Yin is getting the heal for the team. Passively always pathing towards the ballista. If that's going to be in use, GG's. Well, we're going to have to see. 521 sees a frozen QGG. QGG's one hit, finds a Soul Bloom, gets an immediate ultimate to get this team back and going. But WBG Sleepwalker has still no Soul Bloom picked up, has another dash ready to go here. And these fights just keep coming, Moxie. And they're going straight towards the Daylily Meadow.
There's like 7 teams that have been here. WBG and 521, like you said, with that Yang depletion, having to look for these fights and all in on them. WBG, unfortunately, with how long it's taken, because all of the teams are in this area, weren't able to find an isolated free, having to commit on through. They've only got 1 minute left, and they've only got the Yushan ultimate as well to be able to try and open up this fight. And KLA are not wanting to take a fight and slow down and sit on a team at the moment. They are in, I think, full chase mode, as it does look like they're trying to find and hunt down a straggler. WBG, unfortunately, having to put all of the pressure to keep an eye on where KLA are running off to, leaves Sleepwalker behind. And he gets jumped onto by BBE, who now turn onto WBG's rear. KLA finally slow down and take a fight against WBG, but they still just do not want to sit in it. They've identified that this is a desperate team. This is a team with Yang depletion, and as a result, they're not going to be sticking in the fight until they can get the pressure onto the Yota, who hasn't utilized the ultimate. Therefore, she doesn't have it available. Akshar taking so much damage. CXC now comes on through with the Yota ultimate themselves to keep the pressure onto the Yushan, so they can look for the isolation on these 2 players remaining for WBG. Baige is gonna go down, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to clear either himself or provide the space for his Yoto to be able to pick up a Bloom either. And that's going to be WBG completely knocked out of the lobby. This time around, the second realm of Yangs now spawn on up. Bowder versus OUG. It's going to be Sand Siphon with Kurumi. Not quite as stacked as Wolves are Bowder. As everyone is going to go up into the air, Euron activating that F, comes in with the fan focus on the R&B on drop down Aurora Strike as well, making it so hard for these players to sit into that space, forcing immediately a reposition. As Euron throws out the fan again, gets countered, and it's with a spear, which means automatic conversion into Nezhaz. No one can peel for the Takeda. There's absolutely nothing that could be done. And as a result, the Sand Siphon is now lacking the hyper carry. It's going to be Jing trying to make something happen at the moment. The Karumi V2 to keep everyone safe. The Tumult Ultimate making it harder for SS to be able to land these cannon shots coming on through, but the damage has been done. There is absolutely no way. Surely, I say that actually, the King does end up going down. SS now having to commit in with that Yoto ultimate. Comes on through. Karumi Teva going to be snapped immediately to get the 90% damage reduction so that we can face tank all of the damage coming on out. Jinyu comes in with a Yushan ultimate, having to all in. You get your ultimates back anyway as a result of going through that portal. So you need to all in to make sure that it doesn't turn against you very, very quickly. SS gets hit by the Tumult Wisp, held into position, but that is just going to be SS finally able to clear this space, and Bowder eventually goes down. Brilliant effort coming through from their players, lacking that Takeda. I think if they'd had the Takeda still alive, they would have been able to turn that in the long-term sustain. As outside the realm of Yang, KLA going head-to-head with BBE. BBE on the composition that doesn't take Realm of Yang, instead likes to scavenge off of teams already taking fights. And as a result, they've been able to identify KLA. It is going to be that Yushin ultimate. It should be running out in a matter of moments. The fan attempted to fry the Yushan health a little bit later. The connection of the F3 onto the Yushan as well. And we're going to be able to confirm the kill once the ultimate's gone out. As unfortunately, Cuckoo just has to use the opportunity that his Yushan provided him to fully de-escalate the fight, disengage, and just play for his safety. As KLA, I do believe, are sitting on a bunch of kills. So if they can pull off what they did last time, have one player survive until final zone, it should actually lead to a pretty decent score.
Yeah, because I mean, we've seen that coming out here for when it came down to CXC, just hold the fort as attempted before, and just keeping himself safe from that point on. But Cuckoo is he's keeping himself very careful into that bush. Can't do anything around that tower.
So lucky they didn't ring a bell to find his position. I mean, if that was OUG with Mystic Might, that would have gone pear-shaped real fast.
Yeah, you just start scare rushing on the trees and going up, left, right, down, center, like doing the cheat code. And we do see Bowder spawn into Sunwing's Rest. They have Romy Yang depletion. They're under 3 minutes. They have to find their, ordinary position to do so. Now, we do see Euron still in soul form. He finds himself to spawn in here as well with his team, just make sure he groups up with them. But, we've seen some certain circumstances about where, when teams have themselves in soul form, especially under Romy Yang depletion, they'll kind of have a surveillance scout in soul form. That way they can keep vision on areas ahead of time. So that way they can kind of keep themselves safe. But Bowder has so much gold to spend that they can go ahead and spend it. And we're going to see a Hepta detached being a form towards Jing. He also has martial artist will hook form, so he's going to have that one locked into his build as well. But you can see he actually drops the Hepta and allows for it to be, picked up by one of his teammates. So it will just come down towards it into the end. But OUG, Bowder, right next to each other. We know this Mystic Might is going to proc here anytime soon, but OUG decides to opt into the other shot. They don't want to engage just yet. They want to make sure and spending that gold first before they re-engage onto targets that are nearby. And you can see they're going for those bell strikes and trying to hit that through until one of Bowder's teams are looking. Remember, they have 2 minutes now for Romy Yang depletion, so it's up to Bowder to make sure under 2 minutes, mind you. They have to make sure they can get this really quickly before this end circle comes into play for the Shadows corruption. Now, Euron has that Phoenix Blast to come out here. Lizard try to chase down SS, finds those vertical attacks as strikes come out, has ultimate cast to kind of mitigate through here and looking for pushbacks against any ground units. But since we do see this Phoenix Blast doing it in work, Euron is looking for the lineups. The King is in the mech form and cannon form, but his form is about to go D-mech mode because he's lowest. So is SS, and the continuation of damage from Euron is pushing back the forces as SS has to look to disengage from this point on. And with Euron losing peak, there is going to be only a certain amount of time before Bowder will lose out into this fight. But of course, the switch round comes out. Jingyu finds out Jing, and a parry off of Euron will eliminate Bowder from this game for this round. With
synchronized parry too. Really nice coming on through where they identify like, okay, this Takeda has just thrown out on repeat Phoenix. We're gonna stop that. We're gonna parry that, and then we're gonna use it to convert into Nazar's and fully lock you down. BBE looking to try and lock down one of J Team's players. We see Scattershot coming out of frame as well to try and put a little bit more pressure, as they will be able to confirm the kill onto J Team's lead. Wolves in the area already on 10 kills, both OUG and Wolves already on the double digits. I really hope that we see both of these teams just slow it down. Right? They've already got a lot of kills. They want to make sure that they're playing to not have to all in their ultimates because they don't know how many of these compositions around them still in the lobby are the third party variant. They don't know how many are going to be Viper. They don't know how many Tessas there are around. And for cannibal compositions, like that is very scary, especially for the Yodos. If you get hit by that Tessa V1 when you're sitting in your ultimate, a lot of the time you just have to jump cancel it to conserve as much rage as possible, because conserving rage as opposed to just losing it and it being reset to 0% is much, much better. As Wolves look like they're playing the macro game. They've identified, okay, we've got enough kills. We prioritize setting up for end zone. And they do just that, picking themselves up a free Mars Blessing. Unfortunately, the legendary weapon is Nunchucks, not the greatest weapon to have in current meta of Trios, unless you have Dragon's Roar. But I don't see the charge up blocks on the Justina's screen, so unfortunately doesn't look like that's in play. Unfortunate news continues for J Team as well, because that Zip got spotted out. That Zip was real close to OUG. And does indeed end up going down. And that was J-Team's last player. Having been able to deal with that interruption, SS resumes the Tuna activation pose. As Wolves now spot out, is this one of the other stragglers? Or is... Yes, that's KLA's last player. KLA's last player just having to try and run. Does the exact thing they need to do to be able to survive. Pops that Justina ultimate and immediately dashes into as many teams as possible, to be able to guarantee that if you chase with Justina, you actually invite mutual destruction by having to engage against all of the other teams in the area, so that when the Justina goes down, there is a potential chance that everyone turns onto you instead. And as a result, Wolves did indeed back off. One team that didn't back off, however, was BBE. Cuckoo gets hit by the F3 engagement, does go down. Ivan, or rather Roy Hee taking first place forward position to be able to connect that one and secure the kill for the rest of his teammates to be able to move into. But this is what I was talking about when we talked about Wolves' last game, right? Normally, Wolves before in 2023, they saw a lone target, they would chase that target to the ends of the map. It didn't matter how many teams they would have to run through, they would stick on that target like glue. This time around, however, they identify, we do not need one extra kill. One extra kill, it's not worth the risk of us losing one of our players and losing, when we have 14 kills, a really good multiplier score. So really happy to see that, just as in last game, they play the macro, they play the long term, they back off.
Yeah, you know, it's funny too, because ironically enough, they got a Valiant Challenger on one of their teammates. So anybody can find the fight, but it's up to them if they really want to take it towards their realm of, you know, disposition. But, you know, we see Roishishi finding a J to finish off his build, maybe something that could really make a crucial standpoint to the final zone. Wolves by the Morris Blessing, but we do see that the Morris Blessing is in the Moonbane, so we're gonna say yeet. Not going in there anytime soon, until you see the shadow is collapsing towards this Moonbane. And for everything coming, or if it comes down towards his team later on, once the Moonbane dissipates, right, it's up to them to make that move now. Now ZK, Dragon Roar has been acquired, so he is going to be charging that one up, but he gets caught into some cannon shots, gets caught into the target lock. Really big upset moment. If he can't get himself out there, he will take 3 range shots. And as Ben is looking to try to charge up those scatter shot target lock arrows, he's got only 2 repair chests, so it's really up to seeing who's going to take priority into this build. Of course, cannon, really big splash damage area of effect, so if that rupture guild orb does work in favor, that's where you're going to be seeing the allocation for repair chests. Now, only 3 teams here in the final circles into the last 5 minutes, 15 eliminations for OUG, 10 for Wolves, as well as for BBE, and it's a really good standpoint between these three teams. They have the highest kill leader. They're the only double digits team, you know, scoring teams into this round. So for right now, any team can surpass one another as long as the timing is there, but we're not going to see any fights until the
BBE's on the third-party team, though. They've got the third-party composition, so they're going to be waiting to see if OUG and Wolves take a fight and then look to third-party it. So it's a matter of have OUG and Wolves been able to scout out the compositions that they're up against. It's pretty obvious that you're up against a Cannonball composition, at least from one of these sites, because SS is in the mech and patrolling and trying to put pressure as rotation starts to come on through. And indeed what they're essentially doing is they're trying to sandwich one of these teams into the middle, because the team that gets pushed into the middle is the team that everyone's going to third party in on. OUG literally just immediately repositioning, waiting for BBE and Wolves. BBE decided to all in on Wolves, and as a result, no one's looking at OUG. First throw of the Tessa V1 comes on out. BBE swapping over to the ranged projectiles. ZK going so incredibly low that Yodo Av going to be running out in a matter of moments. Has to reposition. Nice cover coming through with the Wild Wind Spout on his teammates so that they can cover for that Yodo. Or rather Justina, because it's ZK who's going incredibly low. They're really trying to keep him alive. He has to go in with the ultimate. He's trying to just play as mobile as he possibly can. Wolves know that they cannot fully commit and sit into this fight because they're going to get third-partied by OUG. If they do, OUG with the absolute best spot, bird's eye angle, get to see, and Wolves know that there's a team up there. They know that there's a team not committing on, and they're going to put pressure onto OUG now. Justina V1 comes on out, the dash connecting onto players of OUG, the flamer as well, trying to toast everyone up onto the ceiling. ZK, however, gets connected onto by the Ferrier mech. The cannonballs pinballing him into the corruption. 6 damage, has to go for the free shell. Oh no! Familk with the muskets able to track the Justina's location and finish him off. This is prime time for BBE. OUG and Wolves have all in on each other. When BBE come in for the third party, they are going to be able to jump onto two teams that have already burnt their ultimates. And here they come. Roy He comes in with the Viper V3 looking to land a connection. Gets to translate into the F3. Sits immediately to reposition though. Sees that he's not going to be able to find the kill. Leaves it to Ivan on the boat to be able to play off of the spacing he's provided and let everyone else duke it out in melee as BBE reposition with the Wuchen teleport. Jam holds on to the Yoto V3, using it to clear space by his team. A little bit of downtime to be able to get the reset as the Dragon's Roar starts to come in from Ivan, looking to push the players of Wolves into the corruption tick. Damn it. Zem with the wind spite looking to get the reset off of the body, will be able to pick it up and moves now over to the flamer to be able to keep putting the pressure onto the members of BBE in the frontal cone to make sure that they do not get to move past him and onto his Justina, who is sans armor currently and does not have the ultimate to reposition. OUG, however, crucially, seeing that the fight's still going through, plays survival. They've only got one player still alive. One of them's about to burn on out. Ivan with the Dragon's Roar finds a connection onto Gem. Does not get the follow-up bow shot. That was the last bow shot that he had. He doesn't have a repair kit either, so now he swaps over to the Hang Sword. Dragon's Roar charges up yet again, looking to find a connection onto the Wolves player who's currently sitting inside the building. Have they spotted out that OUG's got a player? Yes! Wolves! They look up, they see that Jinyu has been hiding out, and they push him out of position with the Flamer, and immediately we go right back to the game of chicken.
The kill bill moment as it comes down towards his ZK, looking toward the lethal jab as he finds Roishishi. And of course, martial artist will hook for him, catches ZK in the most opportune moment for BBE. Zem still in disguise, trying to keep himself cool and composed as he's pushing Jingyu off of the treetop. BBE are looking to hunt like piranhas right here. Right now, Jingyu is the only threat because the Transformer, they stay alive at the end. They can stay alive for another round of a reset on HP, but they don't know how the ultimate's going to be standing here. Jingyu still hiding onto the building. BBE looking to try to figure out what's next and trying to lock out Jingyu, but a horizontal focus like that builds up more and more percentage. Jingyu getting caught to the double R&B. If Fat Milk can find it out for his teammate to find staggers, it will be time right now to catch a martial artist, but there's a musket shot, there's a V1, and there's a kill in the zone, and with it, Zem is going to be the last and second place team to try to make it through here for the placement, but it is a Yodo Hime with no grapples, and having the full contention of this area will give Zem one last opportunity to try to find an elimination here if they can. Zem looking to Flame Ringer, looking to ultimate here. A wild haymaker slash coming out for number one, hits Roishi. Number two, looking for it, trying to catch it, catches Ivan, and looking for the last slash into this building. A V1 Tessa will now force this enchant to co-op. There is no way for Wolves Zem to go right back into it, but looks towards it. Gets caught to a grapple. Roy Shishi actually dying to zone here. And as Fat Milk sees Zem, Zem is at full HP. Could this be the end of BBE just by HP alone? And it looks like Zem comes out for the turnaround of the century and comes back for the 1v3.